Hello, sports fan. This is Steven here for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a very special NFL Week 3 breakdown of the full bracket of games we have coming up for next week. Before I get right into the full slate of games for the NFL season for Week 3, I want to go ahead and make sure that you're subscribed right now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. Go boom. And then you can see all the updates, all the videos that JustMyPicks.com has each and every week, and all the exclusive content on our website. All right, to get right into NFL Week 3, without further ado, we're going to start with the Thursday night game of the week. The Redskins taking on the Giants. The Redskins, as we saw last week, defeated the St. Louis Rams in the RG3 Bowl, if you will, because those are the two teams that traded for basically RG3's rights. A lot of draft picks involved, but you saw the Washington Redskins run full throttle over the St. Louis Rams. Now, coming into this game, the Giants, losers of 2 in a row, one to the Cowboys on the opening week in bad fashion, and then losing to the Atlanta Falcons in similar fashion. This is going to be basically a season saver for the Giants. They cannot go too far down because they don't have a lot of offensive weapons to help out Odell Beckham Jr. just yet. Eli Manning has struggled a little bit with his clock management. He's also struggled with stretching the ball deep because Odell Beckham is basically a one-trick pony. He's the only guy on that team that really right now is producing. And when I say one-trick pony, I don't mean he can only do one thing well. The kid is a bad kid as far as catching the ball, as far as making plays. He's the only thing that they have. Victor Cruz is not healthy as of yet to come back and help this team yet. Still dealing with some injuries, but hopefully he can be back for this week. But against the Washington Redskins, they have a pretty good defense. The offense is the question mark. You have a lot of playmakers on offense, believe it or not. But I have to go with the New York Football Giants to get on track in this Thursday night football game. I think that the atmosphere will be live, exciting, if you will. And I think that New York fan base is going to get, New Jersey fan base is going to get behind the Giants and help them pull out that victory. Now, the Sunday night game of the week, you're looking at the Broncos taking on the Lions. Let's face it, the Lions have been stuttering all season long. After a pretty good preseason where we saw them make a lot of big plays, it's not quite translating into wins yet. You know, Matthew Stafford and Megatron, I think he caught something like 10 catches yesterday, but he's not making his team better by his play. Calvin Johnson is one of the best wide receivers, possibly the best wide receiver in the NFL. He just does not make his team better as far as translating to wins like you see other players help their teams win. So in this football game, I'm looking for the Denver Broncos to continue to keep rolling forward. I think that Peyton Manning and Gary Kubiak have to come to a better agreement on how to run this offense. You know that the football has to be run in Denver. You know that late in the season you're going to need to run the ball to possibly keep home field advantage. So I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this game because the Detroit Lions defense does not scare me, nor does that offense either this week or last week. So the big game of the week, the Monday night game, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Packers. This is going to be one of the biggest games of the season, folks. This feels almost like a playoff game because you're going to have the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a loss in which they should have beat the Denver Broncos, in which they should have at least, went up in overtime and won the football game. So the Packers are rolling right now. Aaron Rodgers is a bad guy. Looking at what he did the first 2 weeks of the season and how he's able to just basically use this offense to make people look silly on defense. You see how he's throwing sideways. He's jumping up off the ground, throwing the football. He's doing all these crazy things, and it's seemingly working. And, you know, he has a big grasp on the offense. Even though he may not have Eddie Lacy next week, I still have to give him the nods up. I think that his play in Green Bay, they're building a home field advantage, as he talked about on Sunday night after that big football game. And you're looking at what they're able to do. I think that the Packers offense is going to be buzzing. It's going to be rocking, and the season is start to change. You're starting to get the bratwurst cooking and things like that, and it's a big home field advantage in Green Bay, and I like them to win that football game against the Kansas City Chiefs in a very close game. Falcons Cowboys. This is going to be an intriguing one because there's not going to be a Dez Bryant. There's not going to be any Tony Romo, so I have to think, okay, does the Dallas Cowboys defense have what it takes to stop Julio Jones? Hell no. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons in this one because Julio Jones is going to run all up and down, all over the Dallas Cowboys as soon as he catches that football. You have to keep in mind Matt Ryan is playing at an extremely well pace at this point. That offensive line it has to shore up a couple of holes, but they are still helping Matt Ryan stay clean throughout most of the football game and letting him get the ball to Julio Jones. Hopefully Devin Hester will play a big part as far as if he comes back with that toe injury, and that'll add yet another weapon to this offense and to the kick return and punt return game. Now, going Colts and Titans. This is an intriguing matchup because the Tennessee Titans got beat on Sunday by the Browns, and I thought that the Titans were going to move forward and play as well as they did. But you have to look at Andrew Luck and the Colts and how they've struggled throughout the season so far and what they exactly can do on defense. Andrew Luck cannot carry this team by himself. You're looking and seeing how Andrew Luck sometimes makes mistakes, throws 2 or 3 interceptions in a game. You have to have some type of cohesion behind the offense and the defense to where at least the defense can protect the offense some way, shape, or form. It's almost like each and every time that the Colts go on defense, you're thinking, okay, another team's going to either get a field goal, they're going to get a touchdown. They're going to score some type of points against that defense. So in this game, it's a toss-up. You know, I like Andrew Luck as a quarterback. I like Marcus Mariota as a quarterback. I have to go with the Colts, but, I mean, it's going to be a close game. I don't think that the Colts are just going to blow out the Titans because the Titans have a pretty good defense. They just got lit up a little bit by Johnny Manziel. Had a couple of breakdowns in coverage last week, so that's where that is. I'm picking the Colts in a very close one. Now, the Raiders taking on the Cleveland Browns. The Raiders last week surprised me with the win against the Baltimore Ravens, only because I wasn't expecting that from them. Their offensive output, you know, Cooper, the wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, did his thing, and he is phenomenally gifted. The kid has speed that we have not seen really in a wide receiver his size. This is another intriguing matchup because the Cleveland Browns, we don't know who we're going to get. We don't know if we're going to get Johnny Manziel, McCown. We don't know what kind of offense are we getting. Are we getting the first week's offense or the second week's offense? So this is pretty much a toss-em-up, but I have to give it to the Cleveland Browns. I think that even though both of these teams are dysfunctional, I have to go with the least dysfunctional team for the last couple of years, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Many can argue that they're just equally as dysfunctional, but when you have as many head coaches as they had, your owner, Al Davis, formerly Al Davis, I just think that the Raiders right now, this is not their year. They're a couple of years away. They're building with Khalil Mack. They're building with Amari Cooper. They're building with Carr, the quarterback. They're building some solid players, solid cornerstone players in this franchise so they can get better. They just don't have enough weapons altogether to put it together, and I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair, possibly 10-14, the winner of that football game, and I'm looking for the Browns to win that game. Next up, we have Bengals taking on the Ravens. The Bengals have surprisingly been pretty good. Looking just at what all of this means for this football team, and I know that Andy Dalton performs during the regular season, but it feels like Andy Dalton has a better command of this offense. It feels like he's doing better and playing better, and he's going through his progressions better. And A.J. Green, the kid is a monster at the wide receiver position. Just looking at what they're able to do on offense, that defense is no slouch. Also, the Baltimore Ravens lost to the Oakland Raiders yesterday. That was surprising. I didn't expect that. Joe Flacco came out flat in that football game. Steve Smith, I need more energy out of him to see that, but in this football game, I'm thinking Cincinnati Bengals are winning this football game, folks. It's just a thing of heart, a thing of pride. I think that the Bengals want to go up and possibly get a division win and make it a little easier on them making a higher seed in the playoffs. They are after playoff success. Marvin Lewis, Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, all these guys have to have playoff success. So the best way to do it, get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Going 3-0, I'm looking for the Bengals to do that. Now, Jags and Patriots. This is going to be a very blowout-ish game, if you will. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a nice young team. They got their first win yesterday, of course. But you have to keep in mind that Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are going to wipe the floor with the Jaguars. This is not the old David Garrard Jaguars. This is not the old Jack Del Rio Jaguars. This is not the old Maurice Jones-Drew Jaguars. Rob Gronkowski is going to have a career day, I think. Tom Brady, same thing. Julian Edelman, same thing. I think anybody on offense, if you're a wide receiver, tight end, you may have a career day in this football game. Tom Brady is going to continue to unleash that offensive onslaught as he has already done this year. And you're looking, it's not your fault, Jacksonville. You're just not there yet. You're playing in this hat I have on my head, the New England Patriots. This is really going to get out of control very quickly. I have Tom Brady in my fantasy league, so I'm expecting him to do big this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think that overall, this game could be over by halftime. You may see Rob Gronkowski with 3 touchdowns by halftime, them sitting, sipping pina coladas on the sidelines with Bill Belichick in his hoodie, and them eating some clam chowder on the sideline. You never know what you're able to see, but I'm calling this a blowout. Patriots over Jacksonville. Now, we're getting to an interesting NFC South matchup. You're taking the Panthers taking on the Saints in Carolina, and I think that Drew Brees, the Saints lost yet another game yesterday. This is just getting crazy. The Saints can't win at home since can't win on the road. That offense is stagnant. You're looking at the only consistent in this offense is Mark Ingram. Drew Brees has struggled. His wide receivers are struggling, not catching the ball. You can tell he's missing Jimmy Graham in a lot of these plays. A lot of those throw-up plays that Drew Brees used to, when he was in trouble, just throw the ball up to Jimmy Graham. He's missing those kind of plays. We're not seeing those as we saw the last 3 or 4 years in New Orleans. But in this football game, I think that the Carolina Panthers are trying to take control of the NFC South very quickly. You know, the Atlanta Falcons are balling out. They have to keep pace with that. They're both undefeated, the Falcons and the Panthers. So you're just looking at, okay, will this come to a certain point where they can overtake Atlanta and do this? And I think that they can. I think that the Carolina Panthers are a better offense or a better defense at this point. Even without a lot of weapons for Cam Newton, he's getting the job done on the ground. He's getting the job done throwing the football, even to the no-name receivers that he has. So I'm looking for the Saints to lose this football game in Carolina, and I think they don't have a chance to win the football game only because Drew Brees is playing outside. You know that Drew Brees struggles on the road. He struggles when they're not inside of that Mercedes-Benz Dome in New Orleans. So, you know, they've been struggling all year. Offense doesn't look good. Sean Payton needs to change the play calling up a little bit, run the football a little more. At this point in time in life, you're going to have to run the ball a little bit more than you're throwing the ball because Drew Brees is struggling. Now, to get to this next game, Eagles versus Jets, quite simply, I'm losing faith in my home team. I'm losing faith in the Philadelphia Eagles. I love them to death, but Chip Kelly is a cancer. Chip Kelly got rid of Deshaun Jackson, let Jeremy Maclin go, let LaShawn McCoy go for basically a pack of Skittles because Kiko Alonso is not the same caliber guy as LaShawn McCoy. Let's face it. The defense looks pretty good. It held up against the Dallas Cowboys. It held up against the Atlanta Falcons a little bit. But you have to keep in mind when this offense starts to struggle, it stinks up the joint. I'm picking the Jets to win this one. Fire Chip Kelly, please. Somebody fire this man. He's doing a horrible job as a coach. I don't care that he had double-digit wins. I hope or wish we could get Andy Reid back or another coach that can put in an NFL-style offense and get talent back around our team. Losing all those offensive linemen that we lost and things like that, just watching that Cowboys game disgusted me yesterday. DeMarco Murray didn't have a chance. He couldn't even pass gas before he had 4 or 5 defenders in the backfield with him. So that's one of those things I hate at the moment, and I'm picking the Jets to beat my Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we're going Buccaneers-Texans. This is a very interesting matchup. Both of these teams have pretty good defenses. At times, the Buccaneers defense doesn't show up, but we saw it show up last week. So the Texans are struggling on offense. They lost last week to the Carolina Panthers, and the way that they lost was they could not stop Cam Newton. So I'm picking Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers to win this one. I know that they have J.J. Watt. He's probably going to sack Jameis Winston 2+ times, and I think that the Buccaneers are going to be on the rise. You're looking at all the talent